I'm Dick Simmons, your host for this half hour. And believe me, this one coming up is what you might call, hairy. Can you imagine this idyllic desert scene with its inherent quietness suddenly shattered by the roar of a motorcycle? Or to be more truthful, the roar of 309 motorcycles. Well, it's a motorcycle hair scramble. That's going on a motorcycle at breakneck speeds across 84 miles of the roughest terrain to be found in the Mojave Desert. So if you like action, stick around. We'll be right back.
It's not unusual to see a vehicle like this out on the Mojave Desert in California, but this one is on a special mission. It's loaded. It's loaded with lime, powdery white lime. Sounds sinister? Like we're going to bury a body somewhere? Well, it isn't. But it is exciting, or at least it will be, for this is the day before a big race, a mass motorcycle race, and the lime is being used to mark the course. The cycles will roar over a 32-mile closed course, 4 times around. They call it the National Hair Scrambles, and a bit later you'll find out why. The marking isn't done by one rider. It's too big a job for that. And this sand buggy will help, and so will other cyclists of the Antelope Ramblers Motorcycle Club, sponsors of the race. Since the course covers such a big hunk of the Mojave, it takes a lot of marking. That's why they do it the day before. It's dry country, and they don't have to worry about an overnight rain washing it away. Where you see these 3 white lines across the trail, watch out. If you're a rider, that is. These lines mean the part of the course coming up is especially dangerous. Not that any part of it could be mistaken for a superhighway. That yellow ribbon hanging on the bush there? Oh, no. Some girl didn't lose it from her bonnet. It's there to mark the course in case the racers obliterate the lines. And here's another danger signal. It could mean a steep drop ahead. Race day dawns over a silent desert. Silent, but not empty, for many of the competitors, officials, and their families arrived the night before and camped out. But a lot of others, including many who've come to watch the thrills, pull in early on race day morning. At least one fella had a soft night's sleep. Nothing's more tantalizingly appetizing than an early morning breakfast in the great out of doors. From all over California, from all over the Southwest, they're pouring in now and unloading their mounts. There are entries not only from California, Nevada, and Arizona, the area covered by District 37 of the AMA, but also from as far away as Kansas. Most of the competitors are members of AMA, sanctioned motorcycle racing clubs, subscribing to AMA rules and regulations. You'll never see these fellows riding their bikes on streets. They're ridden only in competitions such as this. And they'll be racing today for points that will determine their AMA ratings at the end of the season. The season? Well, it runs from January 1st to December 31st. It's time to warm up the motorcycles and check them out. It takes a machine in top condition to withstand the grueling test that's coming up. Most of the bikes are referred to as sleds because they have a piece of heavy metal welded beneath the frame, so if an itinerant rock should hit, it won't wreck the engine. The Supreme Court of Judges for the race will be Tom Hodges on the left, president of the sponsoring Antelope Ramblers Cycle Club, and Gene Carter on the right, president of District 37 of the American Motorcycle Association. These fellows truly ride for glory and for not much else. They pay an entry fee as they register, and there are no prizes, no cups or medals, just a swig of beer or Coke for the winner. And maybe a kiss from the wife or girlfriend. And, oh yes, the points. Points that will improve their AMA ratings and tell the world what kind of daredevils they are. Tom Hodges traces the course on his map, but not for the riders. They're not allowed to know the route or go over it beforehand. Today's race is 3 times around this tortuous 28-mile course. The orientation is for officials, safety monitors, and those who man the 5 checkpoints to make sure nobody cuts corners. This is how they make sure. Each rider has a card taped to the back of his helmet. At each of the 5 checkpoints, he's required to come to a dead stop so an official can mark his card and verify that he didn't take a shortcut. H hour is almost here, and there's just time to make sure everything is shipshape. That means clean goggles, checking out every bit of equipment, putting on safety helmets. Many a competitor brings along not only his own rooting section, but his own pit crew. If you've ever raced a motorcycle, you know why these shoes need reinforcement. It'll be scraping the ground plenty on sharp turns. You know, it's more fun watching a race if you have someone to root for, and we've picked our own favorite. He's a young man named Ron Nelson. He's 21 and hails from Palmdale, California. Ron isn't exactly a rookie. He's raced for 6 years, both amateur and professional. But this year, he's out to move up in the ratings. Last year, he didn't compete too often, so he was 141 on the rating list, as indicated by the number he wears today. Now, that's the way the riders are numbered, according to the ratings of the previous year. A win or a close finish would earn Ron Nelson a lot of points, so you can be sure he'll be running wide open. As in any big race of any kind, there's last-minute meetings and giving the riders their instructions, especially to stress the need for safety. There are thrills enough in this kind of competition without anyone pressing his luck. But now all the preliminaries are over and the racers head out to line up for the start of the Hare Scramble, the wildest, roaringest motorcycle derby you've ever seen. Now you know how Custer must have felt when he looked up and saw all those Indians. There's smoke way out there, and there's a reason. It's a smoke bomb that marks the starting point. When the flag drops, all 309 riders will break across the desert for that column of smoke. And there's the signal. They're off. This is a vital moment because it's a race for position. First ones to reach the smoke signal are the first ones on the course. And there's nothing like starting out with a lead. Now you know why they call this kind of a race a hare scramble. They're just like a pack of wild jackrabbits scrambling through the sagebrush and mesquite. Oh, but wait a minute. Ron Nelson's in trouble right at the start. He has engine trouble and has to go back for repairs. He's back in the race, but can he make up for all that lost ground? And now they hit the main course, and off they go toward checkpoint number 1. You stake riders like this to that kind of a lead, and you've got yourself a big, long handicap. only got to be part jackrabbit over a course like this, but part mountain goat, too. Here are some of the followers as the field strings out in a lengthening line across the desert. If you wonder how the race committee found such devilish terrain, it wasn't easy. They sent out scouting parties weeks in advance. This area is about 27 miles north of the town of Mojave, about 120 miles north of Los Angeles. While it may look like no man's land, it belongs to Kern County, and the sponsors are always careful to get county permission to use it. Heats up as the riders flash through checkpoint number 2. Now leaving checkpoint number 3. You can bet these two have a favorite in the race, and his name is either Honey or Daddy. Checkpoint 5, where the race eventually will end. And here comes the first rider to complete the first lap. A quick stop, a mark on the helmet, and off they go again. Rider 707. And 5 check in. Hey, they're a couple to keep an eye on. Cross-country scramble like this, both riders and machine have to make a stop for refueling. Radio cars are spotted around the long course to report trouble and to summon help if needed. By the second lap, many of the lime lines on the course have been wiped out by roaring wheels, and a little traffic direction is much appreciated. Yep, they went that way. I wonder if she spotted her guy. Here comes number 141, Ron Nelson. And will you look at the ground he's made up after that bad start. Rounding into the second lap, he's right on the treads of the leaders. Now the race is beginning to take shape. Number 7 there. Number 5. And number 1. They're all among the leaders. Number 1, by the way, is Jim Bronson of Sunland, California. And he was last year's champion in AMA District 37. But today he's got all the competition he can handle. Ron Nelson still chasing, but getting closer all the time. Rough and tough and daring as this race is, there are surprisingly few injuries. That's because these men are expert riders. They'll push themselves to the limit, but not beyond it. Should anything happen, though, there's a doctor on hand, and there's the radio car communication system to report trouble and to get the doctor, because he's one of the riders. There are also roving first aid men on motorcycles who follow in the wake of the racers. Into the final lap now, the heat growing, the dust thickening, and the tension winding up to a squealing pitch. Officials feel it too as they check their watches. Approaching checkpoint 3 for the final time, it's number 7, Gary Conrad of Palmdale, California, in front. Ron Nelson is very much in it now. This is one place that's all right to pass on a hill. Number 5, Larry Burquist of Los Angeles, up and over, followed by number 707, Phil Bowers of San Gabriel. And very close now, Ron Nelson. It'll be a dust blanket finish for sure. In the pressure of the final drive is now or never, and one straining speedster almost makes it never. Even the spectators have to be daring in this race. And now they're on checkpoint 4 for the last time and head into the stretch. Who'll win? Well, we'll find out in just a minute. At the finish line, they're tense with excitement. And here comes the winner. It's number 7, Gary Conrad of Palmdale, California. But it isn't official yet, not until they check his helmet card to make sure he turned all the corners and took no shortcuts. Now it's official. Gary Conrad ran a great race, led almost wire to wire, and now for the first time in 84 hot, dusty, rugged miles, he can relax. It's no disgrace to finish second in this kind of competition, but Larry Berquist would rather have settled for first. And here comes Phil Bowers in third. And right behind him, our hard-luck hero, Ron Nilsson. Ron ran out of room and time at the very end as he was pressing the leaders, but he did a great job to finish fourth, and that won't hurt his point standing at all. The champion didn't quite make it this day. For Jim Bronson, a frustrating fifth place. A swig of cold beer and a little rehash of the race with sponsors and officials, and better luck next time. It's all in the game. But Ron Nelson's happy as he gets out of his gear, happy to relax and to receive congratulations on some great riding in spite of a bad break. Jim Bronson is just glad the day's work is over. And if you want to know just how tough a day's work it was, take a look at the desert debris clogged in the motor of his bike. And so, a happy ending for some, if not for all.
Well, that was a hare scramble. Something to see, wasn't it? But then that's just one of the many adventures we have in store for you. So, until our next program, this is Dick Simmons saying, so long.